Good morning. Hey, my knight. How's it going? Number one. First. What am I doing today? I thought about it right before the stream. I think we're just going to test out some of the systems. I think right now, pretty much everything that was in the mod before is now back in the mod. We're going to be testing the spell duplication system. I'm probably going to add on to that. I want it to be a multi-block structure, so it's in line with soul magic and lunar magic. And I got to come up with a unique name for it as well. Spell duplication is kind of cool, but I don't know. I think we can be a little more creative. So let's hop in with which world? Let's just go into the old creative world. And there's something that I'm going to have to do off stream. So I'm running into a problem with tags with watched attributes. I had thought that I hit a watched attributes cap, but apparently I sent Tyrone a message asking, and he was kind enough to reply back saying there is no cap. So I'm wondering if I have like a tag mixed up somewhere. I'm not sure where. So I need to go through and like prune out all of the unused code anyway and do my first real big batch of code cleanup. So during that time, I'll probably put on music or a show or something. And I'm going to go through every single class file, and anything that's commented out or anything that needs to have comments to tell what it does, that's when you prune out and label. And that's when I'm going to check the tags. But I got a bunch of things in. First thing, the familiar system. So I'm going to have a tab over here for supporters. Supporters that have like helped out and like subs or anything else, they will gain access to 3 unique pets. Right now it's all just pretty much in one thing. This is like the prototype that I have for the familiars. The three that people are going to have is the bronze locust, the corrupted saw blade, and the bell pets. This bronze locust, I may actually make it just all the corrupt things, but if we can give it a name. I've been doing Mr. Cheeseburger, so let's do Mr. Smiles. So you can name your pets, your non-combat pets, summon it, and you will have your little minion that follows you. And they do different things. Like this guy, he can either wander around, they have a sleep. Each pet's a little different. See, did his little drill attack there. So the familiar system. So what happens though is if you log out, your pet goes away too, right? So the thing right now is you have to resummon your pet each time you log out. Boom, ban, bitch. I'm getting quick at that. Quick. But yeah, so what's happening is I have a tag messed up to where it doesn't save any of the familiar information, right? So I think something happened in kind of recent times that like maybe a tag is being mixed up or messed up, or something's going on. Something is going on. I guess we could try and troubleshoot that a little bit. I have a rough idea on doing that. But ideally, once I get that fixed, then whatever pet you have summoned and out, when you log out and log back in, like it will resummon your non-combat pet. So, hooray! The next thing we have is the spell duplication. I brought it back online like where it was. But I think it's going to be a multi-block structure that may look similar to this. Now, you can pick and choose like the obelisk, like what you make this out of. But I do want you to use crystals. My pet's sleeping there. All right, little guy. And if you don't want your pet anymore, you could just dismiss it. See, the tags aren't saving, right? So apparently this little guy is going to stay until I do this and reload the world. So spell duplication, we're going to test out. I'm going to pick a random spell. We will try to duplicate it and then use it to make sure it's a real spell. And we'll do something complex. All right, let's go over here. And we'll pull out a grimoire. You know, we can't do anything too complex. I can't do a tier 3 spell because I do not have the MP for it. I do not. Let's do... we could do a run speed buff. Yeah, let's do... Swiftness. 200 mana. I can't do that one. Even this one's expensive. Even that one. Oh, I have 129 mana. There we go. We'll do Swiftness 2. Boop. And I'll artificially raise my mana a little bit with the admin tool. There we go. Gain all my mana back. Boop. Although, you know what? To duplicate a spell, it actually costs more. We'll just do Swiftness 1. You already have a spell where you get, like, more stuff from ores and stuff? Yep. Yes, I do. No ad! Wander of Fates, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Here, let's just pull up another spell. You know what? I will do a projectile spell. Why not? They're easy. We will do Ether Bolt. There we go. So I put it in here. I can now select it. Let's make sure we can cast it. That looks right. And boom. Yep. We can shoot it. So now, ideally, I come over here. This needs to be activated. I think it still is activated through transmutation. You know what? I disabled this because I'm turning it into a multi-block structure. And it will activate just like the Oculus when it detects things are built. Okay, nice. Yeah. Wander of Fates. Hi there, Vice. Hello. How are you? For now, for the testing, because I intentionally broke this part, we are just going to put down a primed and ready version here. So now the way this works, it should be just like in live. You get your scroll of binding and put it in your offhand. You pick the spell that you want. In this case, I want to duplicate Ether Bolt. You stand here and you start casting the spell. And it increases the cast time by quite a bit, right? So there's the second ring, the third ring. We'll get a fourth towards the end, a little trickle. And then eventually, I heard the ding. It did take some mana, and we have a spell scroll Ether Bolt created by Vice. I'm good, working hard on hemolysis. Nice. How's your model going? All right, let's see if we can cast a spell with this. Yes, we can. So I did notice there are no particles with it. So we will have to fix that. You know what? Let's fix that right now. I think that'll be easy enough to fix. Oop. Let's allow that. There we go. I'll shoot you ass off the edits I made. So you kind of redesigned a lot of things. All right, let's look at the spell scroll. You know what? I want a specific song here. I'm feeling in the mood for this one. And then random can take over. But let's just listen to this one. So what we're going to have to look for is the... First of all, let's see if it's the same for every spell scroll. So let's pull out some random ones here. Let's do a buff. Let's do agility. Why not? And we'll do another projectile. Let's do fire. I like fireball. So that's the same thing there. Oh, we got particles with this one, though. So it seems like it may be tied to a particular spell school. Let's try to do an Aqua Burst. Whoops, that's the Grimoire. Here we go, Aqua Burst. Okay, so it may actually have to do with projectiles. But buffs seem to work. So let's go into that item. It's going to be a tool. It's going to be a spell scroll. And we're just going to spot check some things here. So... So on cast, where am I doing the particles? Here we go. Send packet, effect, entity, position. So we're getting the first code part. So technically, we are starting at the front of the path, and then we are going to the second part of it. And then getting the school. Why am I doing that? Oh, you know what? Because I may have to modify that. Okay, I have an idea. Let's see how I formatted the name. Because I probably messed something up. That's normally what happens. It's like I fat finger something or I mess something up. And then I gotta fix it. Tool, spell scroll. So spell scroll would be position 0, and then the other one, actually, yeah, it would be type. So we're getting all the spell types, so I'm not doing any of the volley spells. Yeah, so this looks right. So far it is making sense. We have a casting version of this, but let me try to... Let me try to do something here. RMR references dot logger. Let's get a logger in here because I want to verify what string we are passing through. So I put a bunch of stuff there. It helps make it pop in the logs. I don't need to really put anything else in there. I just want to see what this prints out as I cast those spells. Aqua Burst 1, Agility 3, Ether Bolt 1. Okay, but one of these actually has particles. So now that we know that, and we are passing something, oh, there is also an elemental modifier that we are putting in. Ooh, you know what? That is probably what's doing it. Because it would be like Ether Bolt 1, and then immediately I'm adding the modifier. Oh, you know what? Technically no. That wouldn't be the case. Let's just see what this whole thing thinks it's saying for each spell. Because I'm taking the name and then I'm getting the school, the spell school. Took a short break from modding to do my server's first run of the Resonance Archives. Nice. Yeah, I'm not touching the pre-stuff until till at least we have some release candidates. Then maybe I'll take a look. That just says neutral. That says dark arcane. That says light fire. Okay, now I know what the problem is. Let's go into the particles because I don't think I actually made methods for these or sections for these inside of the main particle method to actually spawn these unique particles. So let's give it a try. You know what? I think I actually fixed this for the staff. I think I fixed it for the staff. I could probably just look at the staff code and do a copy and paste. Because we do indeed get particles, right? Like if I... Here, this is Ether Bolt. We do get the particles. So let's look at tool spell casting and come on down. All right, okay, so this is, again, same thing, right? This is the elemental modifier. Run particles casting. So I am doing it a little different here. Oh, shoot. Yes, that's right. I remapped all of this. I totally forgot. Oh, man. All right, so what I'm gonna do is copy this. And for now, because I have to clean out my code, I'm gonna keep this just in case something doesn't work, I can fall back on it. But we will paste this in. And we're gonna have to put some other stuff in, so like things like base cast time, that stuff doesn't work. What I can do is get... we're gonna have to do a lookup based on first code part. And then the time... time to live. So we got world, we got the position, right? World position, the entity, and then we got, this would be time to live, which should be the config, right? So rustbound magic dot config dot, and what did I call this? I called this spell scroll base cast time. That's what it is. So I will do the base cast time and then give it a little more particles. That way it kind of extends beyond. All right, let's see if that works. And let me also make sure that I'm not doing particles anywhere else. Nope, just that one place. Perfect. All right, so that works. Let's pop that up. Aqua burst, there it is. And if I move, it stops. Fireball, perfect. Let's complete the spell. There we go, that worked. Agility, wait, we already did agility. Ether bolt. Yep, so that's what it was. I had forgot that I migrated the particle system to be more embedded in the spell per casting. So I'm just doing a call to that instead of all the other complex stuff I was doing. Perfect, we just fixed another bug, woo! Let's pull out a familiar. Let's see. Who do I want? Let's pull out an arcane drone. No, you know what? No, not an arcane drone. I want the corrupt saw blade. And I will name you Mini Me. There we go. All right, little minion. I may end up changing some of the AI tasks, so it does wander a little bit, which I liked at first, but it could wander too far away from you. And then it will leash itself. I think if this is just a little non-combat pet, maybe it should only move when it detects you're not close by. You know what I mean? And then it could animate in other ways, right? It can have like idle animations like sleep and, you know, other things. And then when you move, it wakes up, you know, does its little drill attack and then sits there twitchy and idle. But I think I'm going to get rid of the wander around for the pets. I'm gonna wait to see like what the alpha testers think, and then, you know, use their opinion too. But thinking that's probably gonna be for the best. All right, buddy. You can't run nearly as fast, huh? All right. So I can get rid of those spells. Spell duplication did work. Let's add on to it, because I have it in a partially broken way, because I'm trying to turn it into a multi-block structure. So this is the off right now. So really I'm going to want to turn this on, not through transmutation, but through actually setting things up. And I guess my first question that I have to ask myself is, I like the idea of the crystals being here, but do the crystals actually serve a purpose? Like, do I have to put something in to where, like, you have to use, like, all small crystals for, you know, a certain, like, tier 1 spells, and then tier 2 and tier 3? Because I do have the 3 different tiers. But then that means I can't, you know what? The sad part is I don't think I can do that, because that means that you can start using this system when you are in like the Stone Age. And I don't want you to do that. Oh, you know what? Actually, it doesn't. Because my pet's still trying to follow me. Master, wait up. Pog. I think maybe that would be a good idea, because it's going to be cheaper to duplicate like a tier 1 spell that would still have value, right? Like you could still trade that to other players and or sell it, right? You know, sell it to other players. So maybe that's it. Like you would put all the small crystals on, and then that could duplicate tier 1 spells, and then maybe like tier 2 spells, right? You know, would be the bigger crystals, and then tier 3 of course would be the biggest. I don't think I'm gonna have it like eat the crystals. I think it's just gonna be, or maybe there'll be a chance that a crystal can burn out, right? Like a 10% chance that, you know, you'll have to like replace the crystal. That way there's like a little upkeep with it, because right now duplicating a spell is pretty darn cheap. Pretty darn cheap. So let's make this a multi-block structure. And I guess the first question is, well, how do you do that? Seems pretty reasonable. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. So let's do this. Luckily, I already figured out a lot of the stuff with the Oculus. So we can just look at the Oculus core, and I will move this over here because it's awesome having multiple windows. Let's close out the things I'm not looking at. So the spell scroll, spell scroll, spell scroll. All right. You know what? Even the language file, let's get rid of that for now. And we are going to open up the block entity. All this stuff has to be through the block entity because we're going to have to actually save dynamic variables to the block itself. And the block itself is going to have to do the scans in each position to see if the multi-block structure is complete. And if it is, to turn it on. So this is going to be a little complex, and I am going to shotgun code in, but you know, it should still be interesting to see me do it. This is going to be, so first thing I need to figure out, Prism of Duplication. Is that the name that I want this thing to be? Because now's the chance to like rebrand everything. So the idea is each essence type basically has its own magical branch, right? So over in the light branch, when you get around that point, it's going to be lunar magic. And the lunar magic, right now, it's going to be a lunar altar, is what this is going to be called. Like whatever the main block is that I've yet to create, that will allow you to do the interactions and get the resources, like call the meteors down and everything, you know, and to go with that branch. Likewise, on the dark side, right? It's going to be a soul well. Right, so now's the chance. This prism of duplication doesn't have to be an actual prism of duplication. This block doesn't have to be this block. I could literally, and I thought about this, I could literally make it like another block that you embed into the floor. And then when it becomes active, I can have the rune ring sit on top of it, right, without this middle part, and then have it rotate around, you know, just like right above the block or the activation block. I was thinking of doing it like that. I'm back. Welcome back. Got myself food. Nice. I got myself, so I have my Mountain Dew live wire here, and I'm trying to refrain from opening it, but it's my favorite Mountain Dew. So, and I have a soda already open, but I keep eyeballing it. I'm gonna put it right back over here. What'd you get for food? All right, you know what? This pet, I'm just gonna bring him over here, and I'm gonna have him quote unquote wait so he doesn't follow me. There we go. I like the idea of having this be a full block. I get to design something unique here, right? Like I'll make a new pattern for it. And it would just make sense that it's something that would embed itself in there But then I will have to change things, because right now you stand inside of the block to figure out what it is. At this point, you would have to stand like on top of the block to figure out what it is, which is fine. Which is fine. I will have to change a couple bits of code, but I think it makes a little more sense having that, right? Like imagine like, you know what? Let's just pull something from there. We'll just use this, the Oculus. Right, so you'll put the block in and you'll see, right? You could hover over it and be like, oh yeah, that's going to be the whatever we name this, right? And then it's not active, right? And then you complete the multi-block structure, and like how I spawned the portal, then your ring spawns. You know what? Better idea. Better idea. The ring itself could be a block above. That way I don't have to change much code. You still go inside of it. But it's a block that doesn't really have collision or anything else that comes on top. I like that idea. I like that idea quite a bit. I got potatoes that I put on a little stick thing. I don't know what it's called. Cut up into spiral, put olive oil on it, and mix for many spices. Oh man, it sounds good. Put it in the air fryer for 32 minutes. 160 degrees Celsius. Nice. I got an air fryer. I've been cooking chicken wings in them. They're coming out really good. Tasty chicken wings. You know, I really like this idea. I may do this. I may do this. So I guess the first question is, what am I going to call this block? What should it be called? Prism of Duplication. I think that's a name where the idea was to duplicate spells. You would have a prism item that was consumable, and it would like capture the spell, right? Kind of Ghostbuster style. That name doesn't really work yet. I kept the name and then I evolved the idea. So I got to think about what this idea, like what this should be called now. That way I can register everything once. I think I have a list of names. You know what we could do? Let's wake up our best friend that we haven't talked to in a while. I wonder if my friend's gonna recognize me. Oh yeah, look at that. I gotta log in. We'll wake him up. We'll wake them up. Chat GPT, baby. Chat GPT. All history. Alternative words for obelisk. All right, let's create a new chat. Oh, there we go. Boom. There, I'll just do that. So, Chat GPT. Knock, knock. Maybe less chili and less pepper, but yeah. I kind of want chili now, too. I'm getting hungry. A mirror of reflection. I like that idea, but I do want to make a mirror item that resets your... It potentially does one of two things. It either allows you to select another class, right? So it would allow you to like reset, and if you're not a Rust mage, you could become a Rust mage. If you are a Rust mage, you want to be a blackguard, you could become a blackguard, right? So it's a mirror that you would use that would shift your class in real time. Or I was going to have a I think it was called like a mirror of resonance, or I had some name for it, but it would also be responsible for like if you attune to a certain element, right? And you're like, you know what? I don't want to be a neutral mage. I don't want to be anything. I just want to be a regular, mage, or I want to change. It would clear that, so then you could go through the process to attune to another element. The idea was from Zelda, the Super Nintendo Zelda, the little mirror that you had and you looked into it to go into the other world. And that's another thing too. If we do get dimensions and I make a magical dimension, or I do what I want to do and make it to where each mage at a certain mana cost, you can create a virtual room for yourself, which would pretty much spawn a new dimension with a finite space that you could like build in. So you could literally teleport out of the world to go into your pocket space. and then teleport back. And I would have used the mirror idea for that as well. So great idea, but I got it queued up for like 3 other things. 3 other things. I got all these ideas. I'm gonna start being able to implement these ideas once we're done with like this, right? Because the alpha's been going strong. I haven't heard a single complaint about things. And I probably won't. I have an update that I'm gonna push out tonight that fixes quite a few things as well, and it introduces the familiar system, so people could, you know, do whatever they want. I went a little crazy, as you could see, with the familiars. Like there are a lot of familiars. I made different bears, wolves, hares, pigs, fox, and I created some things, right? Like the fox, there were only the red and the white, so I made like a gold fox and like a gray fox, and you know, like raccoons, there was only one kind of raccoon skin, so I decided to have fun with that. Drifters, they're all surface drifters, but I made a like, I think this is my favorite. It's I call it the gray drifter, but it's definitely not a gray drifter. There we go. I guess I had my pet. I just dismissed him. Let's pull him back up. There we go. There we go. That should summon him. There we go. So it's kind of like bluish. Like it's more like a frosty-ish kind of drifter. I like this one. And I spent a little more time on this guy, so he's more animated. He will, like, I'll have him follow me. He like either goes down into like his quote unquote sleep pose, or he laments his humanity. Love it. Yeah, he has different. He's a very depressing pet. Oh, despair. No. Sawblade familiar riot. That's actually one of the supporter pets. I do have the Sawblades. So that's a bug right now. I'm having multiple pets. I have something weird going on with the tags that I need to ban. So yeah, I got them. But I have like 3 pets that are kind of special. So anyone who's like helping, any supporters or anything, they're getting a couple pets. Look at that little drill. I think I'm gonna do all the corrupt right now. It's the bronze locust, the corrupted saw blade, and the bell for those pets. But I think I'm gonna end up having the bronze locust as like a regular pet everyone can get, and then I may go with like the corrupt locust, right? The bell's pretty neat too. Mini me, like it kind of does its own thing. It's got some animations too. Let's see if we could trigger any. Nope, they're all just kind of chilling. Here, I can actually have you wait, and I can put you in like your own wander mode. There we go. So I think this thing eventually tries to, it does its like little twitching that it does. Come on, do something unique. It's just, there we go. So it tries to go down to like hide. My doc says I'm special. Nah. There we go. I'll just let them wander the cosmos. So yeah, I gotta iron stuff out. So okay, I'm getting off track here. This. What the heck is the name gonna be? Come on, ChatGPT. Let's let me think. I need names of magic workstations for a station that can capture a spell and convert it to a spell scroll. Let's see what it tries to do. Won't you update your memory at me? Imprintorium, I hate it. A Nexus, Scroll Forge, that's too similar to the Spell Forge. So far I hate these. Quill of the Archmage. Come on, ChatGPT, you're as lazy as I am right now. One of us cannot be lazy. Codex. Codex Conduit. I don't know. I don't want to use Conduit. I don't think. I would have to be. You know what? Just how about more? Maybe that was a bad batch. Scriptorium. I hate that too. Chronicle Forge. No. Grimoire Forge. No. Inscriber's Table. But it's not really a table, right? Like I kind of want something similar to like how I have the Oculus, right? Like something that is a generalized, like a name that's going to be unique enough to where, I don't know, kind of like the Oculus, right? You assemble the Oculus for synthesis. Should I just reuse the word Nexus? Should this just be no? Well, a Nexus would be considered like a coming together, right? Like a focal. This would just be like copying information. Lexicon Arcanum. I'm gonna help out here. Let's define. Define lexicon for me. Who needs Google search? Right? Who needs Google? Let's see here. A broader sense, terms of domain. This is a lot of words for saying I don't know. For a particular group of people, lexicon mean the terms and concept used to. Can you do a better job? Question mark. I need the definition. I spelled it wrong. No, I can't insult and then then spell it wrong. Oh, it's telling me a dictionary. Oh, okay. Terms and their meanings use particular language. A book or database provides the meanings. Oh, it's defining dictionary. You are such a dick. Screw you, chat. This is why we don't talk anymore, ChatGPT. ChatGPT is like, you know what? I don't need to take this from a biomass that can't even think of a word. I would say I've forgotten more than you learned, but I forget nothing. Duplication array. Well, see, that would be the you know, I would consider this to be the array, right? The floating part. This is like what's the block itself, right? The main block that you make, right? This main block here, like that would be a soul well. You know, for this over here, you know, that's going to be like a lunar altar, right? So this is going to be a, right? Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this is going to be. It's got to be something. It's got to be something good. Hey, Mana. How's it going today? Like most days, I am stuck on a single word. That's like most days. But you know what? For now, I guess I don't need to have a name. I don't need to have it. I could just do that and make it, you know, pretend that it's a full block already. Because most of the code to detect where things are, I could put that just right in the main file that I'm gonna have to rename anyways. So multi-block structure time. Prism of duplication. Let me pull up the Oculus on the side. There's gonna be a handful of things that I'm gonna have to migrate out. like a lot of things. For instance, the first thing that we are going to start pushing out is going to be the multi-block structure detection, right? So I have it to where if you... Here, we'll do this here. Right? So you have the block up and you hold control, sneak, you can see the outline of where things generally are, and it will at least tell you what's bad, right? Like if something's in red, it means the wrong block is there to help you out, right? So the idea is you have the visual in the guidebook and you can see what it looks like. And then you can look at it, right? Hold shift and look at the main focal block and you can see like, okay, this is where things need to go, right? And then you can try to start like building, right? And then if like, oh, you know, I got all this, and then I look at it, it's like, oh, nope, apparently these are incomplete, right? I got 15 blocks incomplete, or wrong, missing or wrong. So I'm gonna have to put in a system like this. I want it for like all multi-block structures, right? I want to help you out the best I can. That way it still feels, you know, it still feels like fun, right? Like you're building this thing, and then when you get the blocks right, it kind of activates and turns on, you know, just like the portal starts up. You know, we got to make it feel like magic in a game that is not magic. The next thing that we are going to need, I'm kind of going side by side. First of all, required tier is gone. That is from the old system. There is no player tier anymore. Mana well, mana font. See, something like that. I think of like a mana well as something that is going to give me mana, right? Or a mana font, right? Something that's refreshing, something that I would use to replenish. Not really something that's like capturing. You know what I mean? I mean, I guess you could stretch any of these words anyways, but that's just what I think of. Thank gods for the loss of the tier system. Yeah. It was a good idea on paper. And it was a good idea for like a sense of progress, but it wasn't the right idea. Something like that, like that would have worked out, like that tier system would work out in like an MMO or something, right? Like a different type of game. Oh, you can make a mana well for recovering mana just because. I can make anything I want. But there is in the for the future of this mod, once this is done and I did my first code cleanup and then alpha, really I just need those two things and then to finish the guidebook, and alpha is pretty much done. At that point it's going to be like kind of balancing numbers here and there for whatever feels good or bad. Mana potions are going to be a tier 3 thing in the light branch. And the way I'm going to want it is you'll have an item and you can channel your mana into this item, or another mage can channel mana into this item. Now I can also have it to where if you put this in a temporally unstable area, like I can make a pedestal and you put the item in there, over time it may be able to also draw mana from a temporarily unstable place. Or if a rift is around, right? If a rift is around, I can have it to where you start siphoning mana from the rift. But basically, you'll have a main block. I think it's like a mana distillery is what I call it. And it stores all of that mana into like a liquid form. And then you can divvy out potions from that. It's like a mana bank. And what can happen is, like, if I'm a, you know, considered a tier 1 mage still, right? I'm kind of in the Copper Age, I'm learning grimoires, and I have a friend who's a tier 3 mage. I could offer to trade them so much mana for a spell scroll, right? Because I could technically use my mana that I had to meditate for as a currency to a mage who may need a bunch of mana, making the, you know, like the gateway system and stuff that I'm going to be adding. So it's coming, and I will be making that system on stream whenever the time comes. But this is like the first thing. This was in the mod before, and it's gotta be put back in the mod in a better way, right? Like I could just give that a crafting recipe and be like, transmutation, you know, you could bop it, but it's a missed opportunity to not use a multi-block structure, right? It's a missed opportunity, and I shall not miss that opportunity. Yeah, increase mana regen or something. I mean, there has to be a reason to have a base. Using your own mana to craft stuff is a stable. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know how it's a stable. Or you mean it's unstable? It's a staple. Okay. Fair enough. So it'd be nice to have another store. Staple. Yes. So yeah, let's make it daytime. I work better in the daytime. Was a typo? Trust me, I know. I sent ChatGPT a typo, and it decided to be mean to me. I guess it's happening, everyone. I opened up Livewire. I didn't even think about what I was doing until the cap was coming off. Oh my god, that's so good. Mountain Dew, if you ever stop making Livewire, I will burn you to the ground. All right. Okay, let's start migrating stuff over, right? I'm gonna have to have a couple. This is it, huh? Wow, this block really does not have a lot going on. Interesting. I thought there'd be like a lot more stuff. There's no GUIs. There's no like explosions or anything. Really, the only thing that I would need is the only bool that I need is this one here. I need a bool that says like, is the structure complete or is it not complete? That's like the most important factor of all this. Yeah, that is definitely the most important factor. We do need another thing. Let's scroll down to initialize, because I do need to have block accessor here. Do need to have one. And I think, yeah, I have it. I have the variable in, you know what? I actually may have it in here. Yep, I do. Perfect. So I do not need this either. We're being efficient. So I can just use that anytime. Freaking sweet. We do need a whole section right here. This is going to be part of that selection. It's going to parse out where everything should be when we put that full system in. We will need to create a method. I will put it. I'll put it underneath. We didn't create this yet, and I should say instead of Oculus, I'm going to make it more generic. I'll say run checks for complete multi-block structure. There we go. That's what we will name it. Tell me you have an addiction without telling me. You know what? It's not really an addiction, right? If you like something, it's not considered an addiction. Trust me, the only time I drink this is when I live stream. So if anything, I'm conditioning myself to enjoying live streaming because of this. Damn, it's good. Delicious. Okay. Ooh, this is a question. If it's going to be a multi-block structure, should I have runestones being like somewhere in here? Should it require runestones like everything else does? Just put some down for visual, right? Should it require runestones to be embedded? You know what? I don't think so. I guess I gotta ask that same question like over here for Lunar Magic. Are you going to need runestones on like a couple of these like monoliths that I'm gonna end up making? Right? Do you need these? In some way. It it would be a shame to like not use them, right? I mean, that's the whole point of this block. I'm a big fan of runestone. I mean, maybe... All right. How about this? I'll leave those. This would make things a little easier. What if I had a runestone down in the middle? Because there's nothing that says I have to use like 4 of them. I could do this, and then I could place the block on top of it. Kind of like how these utility blocks work, right? They need to be like touching one. Or you know what? No, when I said that out loud, I don't like that idea. I don't like it. I just put this down. We'll put an active one down. Maybe it'll help. I do kind of like them here. Just like embedded in the sides. Now, the other question is, what are these going to do, right? They should affect this in some way. Yep, I think those are great. Sweet. So, now I have a problem, right? Because now I have it to where you could use crystals, right? Which are considered one kind of slider. And now you have runestones. So maybe the runestone itself. So you're going to be unlocking this in tier 2. So my thought is, depending on the runestones that you put down, it unlocks, like with this, I could do tier 1 spells, right? I could duplicate tier 1 spells. If I put the advanced runestones in here, maybe that unlocks like tier 2 spells to be able to duplicate. But what do the crystals do? I could, you know what? I could have these be like stabilizers. I could bring that system back. And you know, you kind of have to have these. Because yeah, I'm trying to make Magic feel like you're getting something awesome out of it, but there is like risk, right? You kind of have to set up and know, right? And maybe if this isn't here, maybe there's a chance that something bad could happen, right? And then the reason why you would use the better crystals in a tier 1 is because maybe there is no chance on like the better crystals to actually get consumed. So I mean, let's use like yellow, right? So if I have something like this, right, and I start putting the other crystals in here, maybe these will never get consumed. These have like maybe a 5% chance or something, and then the small ones, because it's a tier 1, you know, roll you know, maybe make it like a 25% chance, right? You know, something like that. That way it gives them meaning, more meaning. But then I have the other side of like the crystal type, right? Like, should the crystal type matter? Should it be all the same crystal type, or should you just be able to use any color crystal as long as it is, you know, like a large or medium or small crystal? The crystals, yeah, would be transformers and stabilizers. Need a better way of getting crystals. There's already a great way. There's been a whole alpha that's been going on, Mana. The mod is completely different. So whatever you think the methods are for getting the stuff, I guarantee you are going to be different. There are no temporal fragments anymore. You don't have to like break down the gears and stuff to make your temporal fragments. You don't, you know, like the crystals, like, I mean, there are no elemental fragments anymore. You know, like everything has shifted and moved. And even for, let me just pull, you know what, let me just pull up a here we go. Like fire crystal. You can craft it out of things using a wand. You can break things down as well to be able to get these. These actually drop from my sentries as well. I believe I also have them. I gotta remember. You could break down the bigger crystals. You could also build up the smaller crystals into the bigger crystals. These also have a chance of dropping in my ancient artifact system as well. So you get crystals. You don't get like as many, but I do need to start coming up with like more uses for them. I think you should have to have a balance, and if you don't, you might get something bad happening relative to an overcharge of that type. Lightning strike. Done. Strike your ass. Yeah, right, but there should be some kind of like balancing mechanism. In you know, for instance, in the Oculus, these actually do serve a purpose, and I do find myself telling people that a lot. You know, they're like, well, what do these do? I'm like, well, have you tried to use the regular rune stones and make a tier 3 spell, right? Like, this stabilizes your Oculus. So you could, right, try to do, like, even if this is tier 1 stuff and I throw a tier 3 scroll in, you technically could make it, but there may be a lot of bad things that happen and you're going to be relying on luck because it's going to be unstable. And it could open up rifts, it could blow up, right? There are all these like bad things. It could require a burst of essence to restabilize it before you continue. Like, you know, it could be resource intensive to, you know, other than just getting the right runes for what you need to do. I could add that kind of stuff in here. Same type could give a boost in performance, like an extra -5%. You know, that's a good idea. If you use all the same type of crystal, maybe you do gain like a bonus. I like that. I like that, actually. I think you should grow them, but that's just me. Well, I don't want to grow them like a plant. I know what you mean, right? Like the formation of crystals. And it is something that I could explore when I add the rift system in, the new rift system, because like instead of just making a regular rift, I want to have like a fire rift, right? And then that fire rift spawns in the world, and then it starts to you know, like the patches around it, I want to do like a block swap of like, you know, a fire elemental themed like grass block, right? Or fire elemental themed stone, or, you know, some of those things. That way it feels like it actually has a presence in the world. And then from there, maybe any loose stones have a chance of, you know, turning into a fire crystal, right? And then maybe the longer a fire crystal is around like a fire rift, maybe it has a chance of growing into, you know, gathering more energy. Maybe. Harmonic resonator. For what? I have no idea what that's for, Wander. This is the downside of streaming, right? Because everything's kind of on a delay, and if you go through ideas too fast, something comes in and you're like, I'm lost. But at least if I was doing a like a screen share, right, people could just actively talk to me. I do prefer that, but live streaming is also good. Oh, from the blocks earlier? Well, it's a good name, but I have the resonators here, the items. So copper resonator, iron resonator, steel resonator. If I could, I would like to not use that name. I've done things like that before, and people get confused. And confused people either leave comments saying that they're, you know, things are confusing, or they message me directly in Discord with their grievances. So if I can get ahead of that and be like, this is called a Speckeldwarf or whatever, you know, there's less confusion, right? I'm already going to get that because I changed the Nexus. The Nexus is no more. That name does not exist in the mod. Now it's an Obelisk, right? A Devouring Void, or the Celestial Prism. But it's not called a Nexus. And I would love to use the name Nexus again, but that's going to confuse the shit out of people. I was going to rename the Oculus as the Nexus. because a nexus, right, is like a coming together of things, right? I would consider an oculus something that, like, with sight, right? Like, you know, and then the spell forge. Here, let's actually make a spell forge. Doo-doo. Where's my spell forge? I got too many blocks. There it is. And we'll just place that down. I will grab a cipher. Let's get a blank cipher here. And we'll put in a light spell, right? So this is what I would consider, right, to be more of an oculus. Because, like, you would be seeing through something, right? Like, this opens up a portal, and then you're, like, peering through the veil, right? So this should technically be called an oculus. But I didn't change this oculus name to a nexus because that's going to be a pretty big lift. And I don't want to confuse people. Like, I'm in this weird space where I had a mod that people have been using for a while. And now with this rewrite, I want to, like, shake the tree. But I don't want to do it so much to where they're like, oh, man, the name was fine before. You know that person's going to come up. I liked it better when it was an oculus that synthesized. I'm like, well, I didn't. Oh, man. Nah, make it into growing instead of swapping stones for crystals. Yeah, but then I'm pretty much making a plant that looks like a crystal, right? Yeah, but you got to keep the rift somehow open. Yeah, that's a problem too in a system where every rift that spawns in has a death. You know, like it's a pre-programmed death. And not only that, rifts use rift weather. So I haven't found a way to make, like, when it's calm, right? To make things, I don't know, stay. Hi, Vice, your nephew and child are watching. Oh, yeah? You have to power the rift generator, but it's still the rift itself. The rift, it's a weird thing in this game. Like, it has a couple things, but it's like I would have to make a rift that is, like, outside of the rift weather, and then make it to where there isn't a way to destroy it, right? Unless you want to, right? A rift that would always stay out. It's actually what the portal was actually. I was kind of like prototyping the portal a little bit. So you would, I gotta get the spell. I'll show you here. Because I am trying to play around with ideas like that, but it's like every time I think of it, it's like, oh, well, rift weather's a thing. And I would have to, like, decouple the rift from it, or I'd have to make my own, or I would have to have, like, a block. This is one thing I thought about, having a rift anchor block that I still want to make, and then, like, it would spawn a rift above, and then it would record maybe the rift that it spawns in the list, and then it keeps just artificially raising its its decay timer, and then hope that when it's calm it doesn't just do a kill all rifts kind of thing. But let me pull out the spell scroll here. This is going to be the portal. So it was similar to this, right? So, whoops, and I fly right into it. I don't even know where I spawned that. Awesome. Okay, we'll spawn another one. There we go. Right, so I would get rid of the core, right? But have something like this. You know what I mean? Like I was trying to, like, prototype my own kind of portals. And this is what I came up with. And actually, by converting it and making it into a block entity like I did here, I mean, that right there is permanence too. Like, I could, you could place this down and it's just gonna stay forever. This one, because it's through the spell, this is an unstable one. After 60 seconds, this thing is gone. That one's gonna stay forever, right? So I've been playing with ideas, but then this object would have to, like, attach to the temporal system, right? Like, it would have to be like a real rift. When you get close to it, it's got to have the temporal stability. It's got to spawn things, right? It's got to mimic and feel like a real rift. So I don't know. definitely ideas. Oh, and there it goes. Poof. Child said he wanted me to tell you that he has a bagel. Oh, a bagel with cream cheese. Got a bagel. Did you get munchkins at all? Just curious. Just asking for the classroom. Just asking for the class. You could just have the anchor refresh itself after 59 seconds. The problem is I don't know how fast the anchor needs to send out that keep alive packet, because I don't know how aggressive the Rift weather system is. I think with Calm, this is from how I like me poking around. This is how I think the system works. You have something that constantly looks to summon a rift, right? And then what Rift Weather does is says if it's calm, which is why when it's calm you like see no rifts at all, it will still spawn a rift, but it automatically deletes the rift, right? Like it's like, nope, this is not the right time for it, and it just knocks it down. How do you intercept something like that, right? Like you would have to send a keep alive packet when it's calm, literally like maybe multiple times a second, right? Depending on the refresh rate of that behavior, to like keep extending it. That's only if that initial behavior uses time, right? It just may be like a bull, right? If weather is calm and this rift is in existence, clear the list, right? Because it literally, there's this like global list of rifts, and every time a rift opens, it adds it to the list. So there is a delete function that this weather system uses, or that the rift system uses, to where it literally deletes everything out of the list and clears the list. So it's like, does that happen when the weather's calm? Right? It's a weird thing. Like, it's like you got to figure out how the systems work and then how you can artificially boost them. If that's not the case, then it's like, oh, well, it spawns a rift and it just makes the life, 30 seconds to a minute. Then you can have it be like, all right, every 20 seconds, send a keep alive interval that adds, like whatever the difference in seconds are. All right. And then you just keep like pumping it. And as long as that block is powered on and sending those packets, then your rift will ideally stay up forever. So just like this portal that I will now break. So yeah, all right, but none of that has to do with me programming this. We need to make the spell duplication system. We need to make this. We're going back into the code. We're diving in. All right, so I'm gonna have to create a method here that's going to basically check to see if, if the multi-block structure is complete. I'm going to copy. He grunted his yes. That is my child right there. That is my boy. Oculus reset item block. Oh, that's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Yeah, it's a good thing I checked that. I'm looking. I'm like, that's not right. What is under infusion? There it is. Check for completion. There we go. This is the method. Yeah, I was gonna say this is a big method. Oh, and I got something going on. Hold on, I'm copying a bunch of stuff. I will see this in one moment. We're gonna delete this. Paste. There we go. There's gonna be an awful lot of red with this. Awful lot of red. Fritz, good morning, Vice and Freya. Thank you very much for the sub. I appreciate it. Fritz, if you're just coming in, we are working on the spell duplication system here. We are turning it into a multi-block structure. Yes, a multi-block structure. There we go. We also, we are going to have to get a ticker kind of registered and rolling here. A lot of stuff we're doing. A lot of stuff. It's already contained. Already contains a definition for this. Really? Oh, I already had it in. All right, we could delete that. I already had that in. Sweet. Fritz. And I'm getting awfully distracted right now. All right, so we need to start at the beginning, right? I need something that's going to kind of be a keep alive ticker. And this thing has to run on both the client and the server. And we're going to want to start it when things initialize. So I'm actually going to put this here. I'm going to call this method, you know what? There's a new name that I'm giving this stuff. Let's go into the Celestial Prism and take a look at the naming for those tickers. I'd like to keep everything the same. So on game tick is the keyword that I'm doing. So we'll stay with it. We'll say on game tick. I will make this one generic. And I will just have it check once a minute. Or once a second. Once a second for the ticker. I think that's going to be more than fair. All right. And then we're going to have to create the method. And we will create the ticker method down here. And I will say this will be a private because nothing else needs to see it. A void. Because we're not going to be actually replying with anything. And this is going to be on game tick the number, right? Boom. Copy that. Now we're going to have to actually do some stuff in here. Let me make sure it's there. Perfect. So in the infusion process, I'm actually going to want to run this check here. So every minute, it needs to run all of this code. It needs to run this. Let me scroll up here because, yeah, I wanted to rename that to this method. So let's go on down. Where is it? Scroll up. I'm going to have to prune out a lot of stuff from this. Boom. Method done. I wonder, let me check the Oculus. I'm not sure if I have this running so early. Check for completion. Let me just see. You know what? I think I do have it up there. Yeah, I do. So this is valid, right? Yeah, it's on initialize, it looks like. Yep. So that's fine. Let's scroll down. So in here, I basically want to pop this in. We do need something else here. I do need to put in a float DT for delta time. Got to put that in. We need to get the world, the API for the world. Actually, I think I could do this dot API dot world. There we go. So this right here, we now have it to where when the block is down, it's going to put a listener on for every second. Out of curiosity, Freya, what is your favorite part of your Disney trip? That's a tough question. I think it's a toss-up between seeing the tiny human being excited for meeting characters and going to the Oogie Boogie Bash with Vice. Yeah, the Oogie Boogie Bash was fun. Can I see the prototype multi-block? Yeah. It's this right here. This will be the... And you know what? And it's not going to be the Prism of Duplication. This will have a new magic-y name. But this is it. Boop. Oh, you know what? Let's just hit escape. There we go. That way time stops. Now we're gonna have to. Now I got to go through this code, right? Because now it's gonna start running this. What I need to think of is, well, how this is going to work. This is where we got to start looking at blocks. So if I keep it this way, you create this magic station, you build this around it, and then you just place it on top in the middle, and it turns on, right? Like I could keep it like that and you just craft this, or I can make it like a whole block like I said before, right? Like maybe we'll use this, right? Like that the physical block goes in there, and then I just have an artificial ring that pops up when it's like animated and on. And I could do it that way too, to where like there's no collision. You know, like how that has like the slight little collision box there. I don't know which way would be better. I don't know. Yeah, it's using that old design. It just seems to fit. And I really like Monsters After Dark, and Matterhorn. You know, the Matterhorn, it was okay. It was a little jerky. I liked other rides a little better. I think my favorite ride was that Toontown one, the train one. That was my favorite. That was my favorite, because it was like watching an episode. You know, like a funny episode. But yeah, this is what it is. I'm thinking. This is what I'm thinking. The block will be something that you just place on top. I think that's going to be the best way, right? Because when it's off, you'll see this. When it's incomplete. And when it's complete, you'll see this. Although if I keep it like the Oculus doesn't physically change. It just spawns another block. Maybe that's what I could do. Okay, how about this? You place this block down in the center. Once it activates, it spawns another temporary block like on top of it, right? And in this case, it would be a block, like a portal block, because that's what these are. These are blocks that it makes. There we go. When it's on, there we go. Right, so these are technically blocks, and then you look at it and it's like all question marks. Like I could totally do that as well. I could actually populate this whole area. You know what? Let's pull up. I can't place the actual portal blocks. I'm gonna temporarily make it to where I could pull them out. Oh, can I actually pull them out this way? Did I make them pickable? Yeah, here we go. So I could have it to where it's something like this, right? To where it is like a portal block. And then the center block itself would have this as a floating ring. I could do that. What do we think about that? Ride the Roger Rabbit. We missed most of the dark rides because Tiny Human wouldn't like them. Yeah. We had to kind of theme our trip around Tiny Human, which was still a lot of fun. I kind of like this, you know, like the whole portal thing. So I could have this as, there we go. Like so I could make whatever this is the core block, right? Whatever this turns out to. And then when it's complete, it could create these blocks here, because technically you could walk into these. They are legit blocks. I just hide a lot of aspects of them. Because, like, you know, and see, the thing is you can't interact to like break them, right? So but they are like a physical block. I could do that. Kind of make it feel more magic-like. That does feel more magic-y than just having a ring. Or what I can do is still, because I kind of want you to stand in the middle. I don't want you to stand here, which you would now be able to technically do to do this spell. You know what? I don't like it. I don't like this. I don't like it. We're gonna reload. Hey, Speedy. How's it going? It's going pretty well. I can't complain too much. It's been pretty good. The Hope you've been doing well. There we go. We're gonna reload, and I'm gonna go with the theme, because I can always change this too. I'm gonna go with the theme where I'm gonna keep the original block, and you're gonna put it on top of everything. If I want to change this, then and like put it into the ground, I could do it at that point. There we go. Oh, let's put the on version, right? So that's what it will kind of look like when it's quote unquote on. So perfect. You know what I could do? I can get rid of all this stuff. So it's not a targetable block, but I could pop out the paintbrush and do that, which would overwrite all those blocks. And we'll turn that back off. There you go. This is how many rune stones you'll need. Better start saving up, everyone. All right, so something like that. And you don't have to use these particular blocks, right? Like if you want to make it out of, you know, like whatever, right? Like Zeganite, Astrolith, just the regular enchanted stone, you'll be able to make your patterns the way you want. So this is what we're making. This is what we'll make. All right, so now I got to start thinking about positions. First of all, a portal position, we're going to get rid of that because we are not going to be dealing with the creation of portals. We're going to be placing this thing down and then doing the checks based on its relative position to see if the blocks around it are correct and then turn itself on. That's pretty cool. A House of Vintage Story modding community. Are more devs creating mods like this? I'm not sure. I know I am. So yes, yeah, I will say yes. All right. So portal min and max, we can get rid of that. So this is the first step. There isn't going to be like an orientation for this. The Oculus had to have an orientation because it was vertical, right? Like your portal needs to spawn this way all the time. It can't be sideways. And I can't just make it a big cube and make it easy, right? So I don't have to worry about positional information. So that being said, I don't need anything with offset. And I don't need anything with looking for a north, south, east, or west, because that's not going to exist in this block. Although, you know what? I could just put it in. Hear me out. I could just put it in. In case I ever do want to, like, build up and, like, maybe turn this into a gateway. I will preserve all of this. So we got back wall stuff. So this is where I would put in the position. We'll come back to that. This is if it's all like north, south, east, or west. So we'll minimize that. We'll come back to those. We are going to be checking blocks. So again, Mastercraft Advanced Basic, using those point coordinates. We will be checking. We will need something to detect the runestone tier, the caps. So let me put that system in. And that would be a runestone tier caps. So I got to find this one at a time. So let's go to the top. In our variables section, we're going to paste this in. Let's go a little further down. I don't think we need to save this per se, but we will. So in the block entity information, if we come on down to... Ooh, where am I running my save checks? Is it under events? I didn't migrate this stuff over yet. Okay, looks like I have them down here. We are going to move these. So we got this and we got this. We're going to cut these out. and we're moving them towards the top. We're actually going to put these right underneath, I believe, initialize, yeah. So right underneath the initialize method, we will put the reading and writing to keep it together. Let's see. Looking pretty cool. How's the oh, I read that already. Yeah, for Magic Mods, I think he's the only one, but others are quite popular. I like the purple blocks. They're pretty. Yeah, that's netherite. Yeah, this alpha, Speedy, it's got a lot going on. Hexaland, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. But yeah, like I just put in the familiar system, right? So you can summon your little non-combat pet, name it whatever you want. Goldie, yeah, question mark. Doesn't matter, it just takes in a string. Summon, and you got your little pet. your little familiar. Right? Like I added a lot to the mod here. Tyler says hi, Daddy. Hi. My little man. Would mod packs ever be possible in VS? I don't see why not. But, you know, the game is rapidly evolving, so even if it's not possible now, if enough people say, hey, I want mod packs, then that's something that can always be added. That's the beauty of, like, programming and adding things. Like, there are ways to do it. Just depends on how much, how much work you want to put in. And that's even relative, too, because someone who knows what they're doing should be able to put something in a lot faster than someone who's got to figure out the systems and do the work to put it in. So, yep. All right, let's keep adding things. Should I give these an inventory? While I'm at it, right? Do I give these things an inventory or do I not give these things an inventory? For now, I'm not going to give them an inventory. We're going to stay focused. So I am reading and writing data. At this point, now I can actually start manipulating those the cap information. Let me just take a quick look here. I do need to do this. There's another method we're going to bring in that will actually run a cap update. We'll put that in. So this is going to be another type of multi-block structure where we're going to have to look at coordinates. And then the basic position. So I could actually fill this in now. So the runestone points, basically where the block is sitting, they're going to have to be down one. Man, the more I'm thinking about this, the more I think I do want it to be an embedded block. Like, I do think I want this block to be, like, inside here. Right? And then have it be the full block, and then that rotating ring would be just above, so you would still see it, you know, like rotate like that, right? Just remove the block and imagine it solid. I think that's going to be the way that I'm going to want to do it. So I'm going to program it like that. So this is going to stay 0, and then we literally count 1, 2, right? So it's going to be 2 for each thing. So 0, 0, 0, 0. One's going to be a +2, one a -2. This will be a +2. This will be a -2. So that should find the correct positions. There we go. And then literally everything else should work, right? I do a check to see, like, is it a runestone? If it is a runestone, then we are going to go ahead and actually associate a number with that variable. And if it's not a runestone, then it's just going to be statically set at 0. Nice and easy. Now, we are also going to have to run this information on that same ticker. So in here, the first thing you're going to want to run is to see, hey, do you have, you know, runestone caps? Actually, you know what? We should check to see if the structure's complete first. And then after that, run the caps. And what we could also do is say if we'll do an if return, right? But I can say if this dot multi-block structure complete, right? If that is false. So you'll run this first, and then if it's not complete, why bother checking for runestone caps when they're already going to be 0, right? So I could just do a quick thing, and then if it is false, it just doesn't run anything after that. Because it doesn't need to, because it doesn't work. Perfect. So that should work. Now let's go back up to the big boy here. The big boy. So we're gonna ignore this north, south, east, and west now. Yeah, we're gonna come down here. So this all works, right? And then we assign, yep, runestones are in place. This right here is gonna check. You could use any enchanted stone, zeganite, astrolith, or netherite you want. In any way right now, we'll make it broad terms. We won't include the crystals yet. Not yet. So let me go block access. Okay, so this is going to walk through the portals. We do not need to walk through anything with the portals because we're not making portals in this. I believe there's a secondary walk. You know what? Actually, what I'm going to do for this is I am going to create another point of data, another block position, and I'm going to say center. Center. And this is literally going to be a 0, 0, 0 kind of thing. I don't need to do any kind of add copy here. Now I could come down here, right? And I can say, what do I call it? Center? Center min, center max. There we go. If block ID is 0, or it's this portal block, right? So that's incrementing things. I don't need to do that. What I'm gonna want to do is, actually, I think the rest of this I can pretty much get rid of. You know what, for now, I'm gonna get rid of this. I think there's a lot of code here that I actually don't need. And there's a lot of checks that I don't really need either. So the frame is in place, right? The back wall's in place. I just set that to true. Count airspaces. This is something that I don't think I need either. Which actually just dictates that to be true. So if I comment this out and then comment this out, really what I'm going to be looking to see if this is complete, the multi-block structure is complete, is if you have your runestones in place and you have the rest of the frame in place. Because I don't even need this, because you're not going to be attaching a pedestal or anything to it. It's just going to work when you turn it on. Which will turn the power status to off. Here, this is the most important thing right here. And then it runs the block replacement. So instead of that, what I can say is we can swap the block ourselves, which is what we'll do, because we basically have to turn this block on. And I'm doing that in a handful of places. What we will look for is transmutation. Transmutation code will get us there. Here it is, projectile. World magic. There we go. This is where we want to look. Because I do block swaps here. Which is basically doing this, setting the block in that position to be the new block. So I'm going to copy this. And if this is false, then we are going to say, here, let me just paste that in there for now. We are going to copy this stuff, paste it in, get rid of all that. cut, paste. And we'll get rid of that. We'll just have it be regular block access. Or you know what, I could actually just set this up as a new position. I don't necessarily need to get the block accessor, but I guess I will. We're going to set the block. We're going to mark it dirty. For the block itself, we're going to have to create the block. Oh, isn't there a way that I could like change this? Oh shoot, how do I do that? This dot, you know what, we're gonna just create a fresh block, I think. Yeah, lock. There we go. We're gonna copy this. We're just gonna create a variable of what the new block is, just like that. It could be called change block 2. We will put that in there. Set block dot ID. There we go. For the position, it's going to be a new block position, and we're going to put in X, Y, and Z because I care about the particular coordinates, which in this case are going to be 0, 0, 0. I was more talking about the theme mod pack with quests and custom world gen kind of stuff like medieval Minecraft or Stone Block. I'm going to lurk. Your stream is still on the TV, but I'm going to read a book while the children are occupied with their fort. I won't be live streaming that much longer, Freya. I'm getting kind of hungry. People will probably want some lunch at some point. So this dot API dot world get block. This is going to be Magic Station Prism of Duplication tier 1 on. That is incorrect. I renamed this block. So let's take a look. Prism of Duplication, and I'm gonna have to go back through this, right, to change it again when I change the name, but it won't be too bad. There we go. So we'll turn it on. We'll turn it on. So we spawn it, we mark the block as dirty, and we are also going to change the lighting as well. We'll remove any custom lighting that was there. So we are going to copy all of this, and we want the same thing to happen here, right? So if there is no block, like if the multi-block structure is incomplete, so let's get rid of that, let's get rid of that. Then we're going to want to shut it off, right? So over here, I just changed that to off. A lot of things are going to be upset because I created some stuff while the game was running. So you're going to have to shut down. I'm going to rebuild, and we're just going to see if this thing works. So when everything is complete, it should turn on. And what is this? Oh, I re-enabled that. Did I re-enable that? Yeah, I did. My bad. Let's see. I mean, you need to make a quest book mod, but yeah, you can make it work. But Stone Block in particular would not work as it requires multiple dimensions. It does not work yet. Apparently, like what I'm reading up here is that it looks like we are getting dimensions, and I can't wait for that. I can't wait. Because I have the idea, right? Like a powerful mage creating your own pocket dimension, right? Your own pocket space that you can warp to using like a magic mirror. And you could build in it, right? It is your space. It is your little world space. I like that idea so much. So much. And once I have that, I want to create a magic world. All right, I want to create a magic dimension, and I want to create that. So, but it seems like we will be getting dimensions. Long story short, we are getting dimensions. I just realized none of this is going to work because I would have to build in the shape of an Oculus to have this work right now, because that's what all of these points of data are. So first thing we need to do is, well, change some of this stuff, right? So runestone points, that was what, 2, -2, 0, and then this was 2, and then -2, and these were zeroed out, right? Because that's where the runestones are going to live, embedded in there. Now for the frame itself, we have a lot of different points. Let's pull up the game, and we're just gonna have to do some counting. Normally I would take a screenshot of like the overhead or like a side view, and then you just kind of count the blocks. Soda. All right, let's hop in the creative world. Let's figure this out. I need a name for this block. Prism of duplication is not going to cut it. Oh, let's see. Oh, it's upset because, yeah, it's going to be null. I don't have this in the JSON yet. You know what? Let's stop. I'm going to put something basic in the JSON file. Prism of duplication. And you know what? Let's just take a look at the Oculus. So we need this whole multi-block structures part, and we just need to put it in the attributes, so it's not null. So attributes, it should be right here. Let's put a comma and paste it in. There we go. So at least now it has like some idea, and it has some data to parse. It's not going to be right, but it's not going to crash. All right, now let's go back in. I really hope we get dimensions soon. I really do. It'd be awesome. What time is it? Do 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 do. Nice. You look concerned, Freya. I just got your text message there. Oh, that was quite a while ago. All right. So we can spawn back in. So this is basically, actually, this is how we have it set up right now. So we need to start counting blocks. It's going to be all of this. It's going to be all of that. Now, how strict do I want to be with this? Do I allow you to use literally, as long as it's like netherite or one of the approved block types, should you be able to put any kind of block in here, right? So if you wanted to, like, all of this could be, you know, like this, right? Get rid of those particles. So, I mean, you could do like this, right? You could build with, you know, with like anything. Should I allow you to do that? It's first question. Should I allow you to do that? Because I do like the idea of you being able to customize, right? But you just have to have the blocks in the right place. Kind of like the Oculus. I make it so bare bones because I allow you to build around it to make it look like whatever you want. All right, let's see. Let's go back into... I don't need transmutation. There we go. The prism. And we can get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Did I just close out? I just closed it out. I closed out the block entity that I was working on. All right, let's pull it back up. Let's pull it back up. Prism of duplication. There we go. This makes more sense. All right, so I got to start feeding in some coordinates here. For the coordinates, the minimum and maximum coordinates, I don't think I need those. So we're going to comment these out. I'm going to get rid of these. And get rid of this. I don't necessarily need that. I'm doing like a manual check here. So I got the runestone points. So I guess technically, I could start, everything's going to start at 0. 0, 0. Pretty much everything's going to be 0 except for the end. There we go. And then I could just do like -1, 0, +1, 0. So that would get that. I could do a 0 and a -1 over here and a +1. Whoops, +1 there. For the next coordinate, I'm just going to 0 it all out. There we go. There. So now with this, so that would have got that block, that block, that block, that block. Now we got to get in the corners, right? So it's going to be like a 1, 1, a 1, -1, and then a -1, 1. And then the last one, of course, is -1 and -1. So that alone is the center here. That is checking everything in the center. Now I'm going to have to check over here. So I could do this. You know what? I will be nice. I'll make it to where you don't have to have a block here. Like maybe that could be air and empty. I just do a check for these. But we need to do an outer ring now. Oh, this is actually going to be quite a few things. And I think I'm going to differentiate some of this stuff here. So, frame mana stone point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's going to be like the center. Yeah, that would be all 8 blocks, and then the center would have been the 9. Thinking of the grids here. So then the next part here is going to be like the outer ring. So we're gonna have to add quite a few different points here. Paste, 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 paste. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. This will be 20. There we go. It's gonna be upset. We'll turn them into variables in a bit. All right, now I got to start thinking of this positional data, right? So instead of -1 should be -2. We'll do a +2 to hit the other side. All of this, you could actually create a multi-line cursor, and I could just delete all that out and put a 0 in. There we go. And then this would be, of course, -2, +2. Now what I could do is I could get the distant corners, right? And I can say like 2, 2, 2, -2, -2, 2, -2, and -2. Perfect, perfect. Next. So let's think about the blocks we have here. Oh, you know what? I don't need these because these are technically runestones. So the first 4 points of data we actually didn't need. Oh, you know what? The ones I just did, we don't need those either. It would be empty space. I just put the coordinates to find these. So really, there's only 4 more points that we need. And it's going to be that. The blocks like next to the runestones. So let's see. It would be like 1, 1, 2, right? Something like that. So let's go back to here. So if we do -2, 1, -2, -1, then we would want to do the reverse, right? To get the other side. So it would be 2, 1, 2, -1. And then for our last points of data, right, you would pretty much swap it, and the 2s would be on this side, just like over here. So we'll do a -2, -2, then we'll do a +2, +2, and then over here it's going to be the 1s, right? So 1, -1, and then 1, then -1. Boop, just like that. I do not need those. So that should do it. Down here, we are going to have to paste that a couple more times. I got 16 of them. So that'd be 12, 13, 14, 15. I was close. 16. Ooh, yeah. These points of data don't matter right now because I'm overriding it anyways. Hey, Speedy, thank you for the Prime sub. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I appreciate the support. Helps keep me doing this, right? So all of this, all this stuff here, I can actually copy it, and we're going to paste it down here. Boop. Because I'm keeping the fact that I do want to have an orientation of north, south, east, or west, but I don't necessarily have to change anything the way it's currently built. If I ever want to make an arc, and make it like a portal, then I'm going to have to modify this stuff, but at least I will already have things configured so I have less work to do. So we got runestone points. Here we go. We have to add more of this. We've got to add more. Paste. That's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So anything that is, this is going to be an easy way of doing this. Copy, paste, 12. Now I can just select a section, right? And then we will do a replacement there. I will select the next section, make that 13. Next section, make that 14. Next section, this will be 15. Whoops, 15. 12, 13, 14, 15. And then this one will be 16. Boop. And it looks like I did mess some of this up here. So 12, that was 13. This 14 did not change. 14, 15, then all 16. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and get rid of that bottom because we don't need it. So this should check all the blocks to make sure that the multi-block structure is indeed working. And let's delete that. Oop. And let's put the semicolon there. Is that the one I need? Let's see. Oh, I didn't do this right. Here we go. I gotta close up all these parentheses here. My copy and paste didn't get it all. And I can do that. There we go. Now it should read everything correctly. Let's save it. I think I could just fireball it in and have it start to work. All right, so what we gotta check first is to see like print statements, right? Is this a multi-block structure? Let's scroll to the bottom where the ticker is right here. And we are going to paste this in. And I'm just going to say complete. And we will push out this variable here. So it should hit every second. There we go. We'll move over the logs here. And apparently it's not. Do you still have a public server going? Well, the public server, it's coming up. I'm doing the alphas right now. So the fact that you had your Prime subscription in my Discord, you should be able to have access to the community section. In there, you'll see something called Rustbound Magic-Alpha. You can feel free to check that out, download it, see what all the changes the Magic mod, has in it, and make suggestions. We've been talking a lot in that chat, and that's where a lot of these systems are being built when I'm not live streaming. So the question is, why is this not block entity, prism of duplication? Okay, okay. Oh, I don't think I'm attaching a block entity to the block anymore, huh? Nope, nope, I am. Okay. Prism of duplication, it's right there. Is it registered? Yes, it is. Okay, good. It is indeed registered. Let's go into the block itself. Looks like I created, this does have an inventory. Okay. Register game tick listener. This guy right here. Which goes into here, which should be, it should be pumping out some logic. Oh, it looks like there was an error. Name portal min does not exist. Ooh, let's stop the game. Let's stop the game. And rebuild it. Succeed. All right. That soda is warm. It's a very, very warm soda. I had it since I woke up. Kind of tasting a little flat, too. Yeah. Oh, to talk about the public server, yeah, right now we have the alpha. Once this system is in, there we go. Now it's saying it was complete. Once this system is in, and things are stable, I will be opening up a community server, right? We'll get some mods in there, mod pack, and then it's gonna be about, you know, like testing this stuff out. All right. Let's put this in here. Boop. All right, so it's saying false. It's saying false right now. Although it should be considered complete, because we're only checking these bottom blocks here. Unless, yep. Whoops. Now it should be false. There we go. We'll put on this song instead. So that is not working. So let's go into here. I most likely have something incorrect here. Not most likely. I do have something incorrect here. Oh, you know what? You know what it could be? Oh, okay. No, never mind. So I'm getting the position. So really, what the way I can check this out is let's go down, because I am changing some variables here. Runestone in place. I can just do individual checks for each thing, right? So runestone in place. Let's see, right down here. And I will say like runestones. There we go. So we'll look at the frame, right? So I'll do the frame, copy, paste. We'll do the runestones here. And we'll see what these are coming up as, because it may be, you know, one thing says false, the other says true, and we know what to target. And I will say frame. All right, let's see some print statements. All of it right now is false. Runestones are false, and the frame is false. And of course, the multi-block structure itself is also false. So let's go into here and take a quick look. ViesCraft, Advanced, Basic, that should be all correct. With this, we are starting at 0. And then going out 2, right? So 0, 1, 2. Oh, wait, where is it starting? Is true. Everything is up one level. Why am I doing that? Hold on. Let's fix that a little bit. Let's just fix the root of the problem. So I'm getting the position, right? The position. I am pumping that into here. And then for these positions, I almost want to like do an additive kind of positional call. Because like now that's fine. You know what? I bet it all works if I dig this down like one more. No, actually it's saying false. Okay, so it sees it. Okay, now it sees it as true, but I think it sees it as true because of this. Let me just break that again. Here, let me put down a regular block. So it's saying false. Okay, now that's saying true. Oh, wait a minute. I think I have more of these here. I gotta find where all these other blocks are, because they're all spamming me right now, so it's kind of getting confusing. All right, where do I have this on display? Right, something over here? No, I don't have a display there. Where is this block? We gotta find it. Oh, there's one. Here we go. Get rid of that one and that one. We still got print statements coming through, so I have them in other places. Not over there. Not over there. Oh my god, I may have to make a new world. It may take me longer to find this than it would be to just start a new world and test from that. Oh my god, I don't see it. I don't see it. Oh, this could have been I teleported randomly somewhere to put down some blocks to test chunk loading. Oh boy. All right, we're leaving. We're leaving. We're creating a new world. I can't do that. I can't. Oh, goodness. Man, I still got like half a soda can. I've been up since what, 7:30? It's like 11:33 now. This is an old soda. All right, so we got to rebuild that here. I will just use enchanted stone and we'll pull this out. All right, kind of clear space. Nothing's being spammed right now, so we got that right. We'll just pretend that's a full block. There we go. Now I got stuff popping up. There we go. Kind of clean it up a little bit. Clean up the area. There we go. So the frame right now should equal this. That, and that. Which is coming up as false, right? Which is fine. We can troubleshoot that. This is where the runestone should go. That is now coming up as true. So let's work on this one thing at a time. Let's come back down to here. And if the last code part... Oh. I know what's going on with this. And it kind of is my own fault. Paste. True! Now it's coming up as true. So what I'm looking at here is I'm looking for north, south, east, and west. And I'm looking at the last code part of the block. I do not have a north, south, east, or west modifier on these blocks when you place them. I have an on and an off state. So that's going to be a problem. So for now, we'll go back into here. but it is detecting a multi-block structure right now. Well, it is and it isn't. It sees the rune stones as false because I did a copy and paste here. Let's scroll down. Let me minimize that because I don't need this, and I don't need this method either. And let's get rid of that because that was wrong. True and true. Now it's considered a multi-block structure. True and true. So now what I want it to do is, let's test it. I know you can't see the print statements. So now it's false. The multi-block structure has been turned to false. Now the multi-block structure is complete. It's incomplete again. If I put down the wrong block, it is still incomplete. Put that in. Okay, so the logic on the back end now sees this as part of its multi-block structure for this center block. Now we have to change this to actually be on when it detects that it is a multi-block structure. So first thing we need to do is come into here, right, and say, okay, if the multi-block structure is false, then we do another if check to see are the rune stones in place, which should be true, and then this should be true. You have a frame. We're not going to do anything with power status. We do change the bool here. This whole center max thing, you know what? We're not gonna do that. I'm gonna cut this stuff out. I don't really need to access a block accessor. What I do need to do is just change the block to the new block. So we get the new block here, which is this one right here in the on state. And then we are going to get this positional data. I could just do this dot POS. And I did it in the wrong place. Could do that. Copy this, paste, oop, and paste. All right, set block. Oh, I got to put the ID of the block in there. Let's give this a try. And then we mark the whole thing as dirty. So same thing down here. We don't need the block accessor for it. I can get rid of that extra dirty call. We're not really going to be messing with anything that's like a power status either. So it did swap briefly here. Oh, it's swapping it to on because I just did a copy and paste, right? This technically would have to be off when it is being turned off. So technically the particles did stop. And now it just turned on, right? So that's good. That's good. We need to do something for the block entity because right now we're just swapping the block, which isn't, you know, too exciting. The block entity, I think, has the animations. So we need to switch the block entity. Let's do it. In here, what we need to do is say, you know, I think we just need an extra call. This block accessor, because I think we just need to mark the block entity itself as dirty in the current position. So it's off, it's on. So it flashed, right? It is doing something. But we are not seeing those animations. You know, instead of set block, let's do an exchange. We'll do an exchange block. With the same block ID. Because it's interesting that it actually does turn quite a... Oh, you know what? You know what I could be doing with it? In the block itself, I may have to remap the animation as well to be able to like dynamically change. May have to do that. But I think it is changing a lot of the core block, just not all of it. So it sets that. So maybe not exchange block. Mark block dirty, remove the light. Probably want to remove the light block, then mark it dirty, then mark the block entity dirty as well. No, so let me change that position here. Fireball. So it's not doing a texture swap either. So it's keeping its old block texture, and it's not it's awake, right? So there are things that change. The selection goes from black to the blue lit up, which is part of the on block experience here. If I reload the world, I wonder if all of a sudden it will reload the model, because what's happening here is that it's just not reloading the model. Da 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 da. Yeah, so I just did a world reload and now it's considered on. Do tell, pray tell. Let's do a set here. Let's do a set. I kind of like the idea of having it be like having it set instead. Right? So see that it actually updated? Oh, it just, maybe I had to wake it up. Oh, you know what it probably was? There is a ticker here, right? So, but see, it's keeping part of the block alive here. It has both blocks here, which is not exactly what we want. I would think marking the block entity dirty would have fixed that, but apparently not. So let's go under tessellation here. We got to find tessellation. On broken, it's not going to be an inventory. Game tick. Here we go. On tessellation. So if it sees the block as on, it's going to return true. If not, return false. Return false to render the original shape. You know what? What if I do this? What if I have both as true? So it should be false right now, but apparently it's not always updating. So I am getting some weird desync stuff going on, which is fine. It's fine. But at least it is respecting this quote-unquote multi-block structure. Now we have to think. So I guess technically I have a couple of things to think about here. How do I want this block to work? Does it need to be a block entity? Should I not worry about changing this block entity? Should I make that other block that like sits on top, right? So imagine this is the whole block, and then once it detects everything, right, it spawns the block on top, which would look like the on version. Could just do that. In which case the calls would be easy. It's easier to sync because it's not having to rewrite its own brain while it's doing the surgery, right? It would just change the block on top that you would then walk on and do your spell casting. Maybe that's the route to take here. That's a solid block, and then we create the new block on top, which would be, you know, you would walk into it, and that one could just be a block. That one doesn't have to be a block entity. I like it. I like it. Let's continue the multi-block structure because we still need to put these points down as well, and then we also need crystals. So let's go back into here, and then once that's done, you know, it'll be easy just to go through and make sure it syncs up. So frame, mana stone, point. So we got all of those points here. Let's go down. So I got 16 points of data. I think we need more, right? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, we're gonna need more. Copy, paste, so 17, 18, 19, 20. Technically, I guess we need 20, so 17, 18, 19, and 20. For the 4 caps. And what I can do here is I will actually just set these correctly here. Let me see. So this would be, either way, we're going to have to go +1. And then I think it's going to be literally like a 2, 2, -2, -2. So 2, 2, -2, 2. Here we go. So that should be 1 block up and then hitting those corners. Now we're gonna have to come into here and actually do those checks, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's copy this whole thing. Select it all, so this is going to be 17. This whole thing will be 18. This will be 19. Boop. And then this will be 20. Boop, boop. I'm going to save that, fireball it in. Now it should just work. So it sees it as a multi-block structure. Now it does not. So this has now become part of the multi-block structure. And you could, you know, have as much fun with it as you want, right? If you want to use that as one of the blocks. True. So it is seeing this as, again, a multi-block structure. That, and that. So I'm getting spams of true. If I break it, see, technically it did shut, well, actually it synced up kind of correctly there. All right, so it did turn it off. Putting it back down, popped it back on. Boop. There we go. Alrighty. Now I want crystals, right? Because I want you to put crystals down. There we go. So technically, these crystals, since they're blocks, I just need to get these coordinates and then add a 1 to them. And then I can start doing checks to see if a crystal's in there. Now the question is, how do I want... Do I want you to be able to place crystals down like this? Right? If there's another block on top, do I want you to be able to place a crystal on the ceiling here? Because technically it would still come up as true because of the spaces, right? You could have this up against a wall. Here, I'll use a different block, right? You can have like carve out a cave entrance or something. Technically something like that would still be true. Should I force you to have to place the crystals in the specific position like this on here, regardless of whatever ceiling or walls or anything around? You know what I mean? Like, it still has to be like that and attach? Or should just having the crystal be in the position would be good enough? It's a good question. Because, I mean, there is argument to be said that, like, if you wanted to make something like this, and then have it be a room, and then have like a doorway, right? And kind of build it out. Right? Because that would allow you to have, not caring would allow you to be like walking into the room, right? And then having the crystals be part of the wall, right? To make it look unique while still having your spell active. Instead of forcing... There you go. What I need to do is pull up some just dirt. There we go. There, and we will place this stuff down a little bit, kind of break that. There we go. We'll pretend, right? We'll pretend that this is a room. Here we go. Don't want to penalize the people that want to make the towers, right? Okay. And I'll use the big crystals, the nice, pretty big crystals instead of these little guys, right? So basically you would have the, you know, like I could statically set it so you have to make it look like this, right? Or I could make it to where it doesn't matter, so you could do something like that, right? Attach it to the walls if you want. Maybe you could do something like that. You know, if you want to make it look a certain way. Either way, it would still detect the crystal itself in that spot. What are we thinking? What are we thinking? While we are thinking, I'm going to go ahead and create the new variable for what we're going to be looking for. So instead of frame mana stones in place, I will say elemental crystals in place. And we will copy this. We're going to need 8 points. Instead of frame mana stone point, this is going to be called elemental crystal point. Now for these, oh, you know what? I should have done better at the copy paste. This technically, I believe this is what I want because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it would be like these right here. Right, because let me think. 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. Yep, so it's this. So I could copy this. I know what I'm going to do. Bam. Post that in. We are going to rename this. And I'll need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. These are going to be 1s. Oop. Copy and paste. We're going to have to do new checks. I'm gonna have to modify a lot of this stuff just doing a copy and paste. It would almost be worth just typing it all, like, you know, manually creating the statement. But I guess since I'm already in it, paste, paste, paste. That's gonna be elemental 0.1. So I'm gonna want to look for something like block. Elemental crystal. Ooh, now I have to figure out what I did here. So I don't have just a generic elemental crystal. I need to do specific calls for neutral, light, and dark. Here's a pitch. Because I do break the spells, magic schools into one of those three, I could have it to where you need light crystals to duplicate a light spell, right? So the light crystals would be fire, lightning, or nature crystals. I could do that, but I think at that point that would be like nitpicking a little bit. Ban, bitch. You know, it's one thing I think about too is whoever this Jack, you know, butt is here. I had to think about where my stream is, who's watching it. Wherever this person is, they're trying to get people to do like, you know, like I guess increase their viewership or whatever. But it's almost like a negative thing, because something like this, just because whoever did this, I dislike them so much. Even if they were offering me a gold block, right, free, no strings attached, I would deny them because I'm feeling more spiteful than I am anything else, because they annoyed me. You know what I mean? Like, at no point am I ever going to think like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll go with them. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Cantankerous old man side. But all right. So we got more to do here. You know what? It's almost 11. I'm going to put a note to myself here. I'm going to say left off here to get lunch. I think I'm done for now. I think I'm done. It's almost lunchtime. I think we're done. I guess some stuff in the alpha chat here. Really, it's going to be like, you know, what direction, what orientation should the crystals be? Should I not care about orientation? Or should I have these, you know, have to be in a specific position? Hey, Zet, you must be the new Bernardo. You came right when I'm about to end the stream. It's amazing. Bernardo's here in spirit. Let's go to Twitch. Let's see who is streaming. But I guess before we find someone, you know, quick little recap. Most of the stuff for alpha is in. The pet system is there. I need to figure out the whole tag thing going on there, where it is not, it's not spawning, you know, like the correct information, the tags are not right. But the system itself is in some basic sense. Spell duplication is in as well. Now you're going to have to admin the items in. We are working on this part here, so the ability to make the spell scrolls is in. The ability to set up the multi-block structure is still a work in progress. But really, it's going to be those two things and finishing the guidebook. And then I would consider alpha to be over at that point. And then we kind of move on into beta, right? Where I'm working on new systems like, you know, soul magic and lunar magic and mana potions and new ways to increase your maximum mana and new spells and all that stuff. So we're getting there. Who was playing Vintage Story? We got two other people. No wonder why we got so many people in the chat. We got this one person here. Let's see. Church of the Inner Monologue. All right. Team PGP. All right, so that person is playing. And then we got another person here. Fourth session. The Muddy and the Furious. Oh boy, which one? Literally, we will flip a coin. Let's pull out the old EverQuest 2 Collector's Edition Kingdom of Sky coin. I was like 2 hours ago. I don't know, Mana. Do you want to stream now? I can raid you. If not, the coin will decide our fate. We will say the living dragon Harladar will be for the first person here. This inner monologue the bone dragon, Taranax, will be the other person. Nah. All right, sounds good. Lip in the coin. Oh man, that made such a nice ring. And we got the bone dragon, Taranax. So we will be rating this person. Snackery's house. If I can copy, if I can select their name, jeez. /raid. There we go. I have a coin from the Oblivion Collector's Edition. Nice. I like little collector's coins. Too bad like places don't really do that anymore. Would be cool. Would be cool. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. We are making progress here. The multi-block structure is the structure itself is just about complete. Gonna have to remodel the block, which isn't a big deal. Make it look like a full block. You know, figure out positions here. Make the new block craftable, and then you know just clean up the synchronizations. I think I know why it's messing up with its syncing, but that's a really easy fix. If it is what I think it is a really easy fix. Basically, I just have to put a mark dirty in the right place, and it will work. But all right, everyone, thank you. Have a wonderful day. I will maybe later tonight when Baby Triangle goes down for bedtime, if he stays down, I may hop into Discord. I'll do a screen share working on the mod so people can come in and talk to me directly. So it'll be fun. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.